What is up, Gorilla Nation, and welcome your butts back to a brand new edition and a brand new episode of the Division 2 Build Series. I'm Relentless XRG, and welcome to the channel. And if you happen to be new, then smash that sub button. Every sub helps with the whole algorithm when it comes to the YouTubeosphere, and it's absolutely free. So if you feel obligated, and I'm in enjoyment and to your liking when it comes to things of Division and in gaming, then by all means, all support is very much appreciated. And then if you would be so kind to smack that like button, and then reach up there, fondle that bell, and turn on post notifications, so that way you know each and every time a video is uploaded or a stream goes live. Well, last night I was sitting here thinking, and also playing a little bit of Summit with Soul Killer. Good friend, shout out to him. Good supporter of the channel, brother, friend that I've actually met on the Division. And you know, the hamster and the squirrel was just a running around and turning in my head, and I got to be thinking, you know, really the craze right now is ongoing directive, you know, and how to be a significant use with putting out damage and getting kills myself, but also increasing and reinforcing the damage of my teammates, as well as helping support, you know, them in health and keeping them upright, so that way they can continue to inflict damage. And you know, that hamster and squirrel got a turn. I was like, what can I throw together? And that, you know, something that's different, that, you know, it's not been put out there on the YouTubeosphere, that is completely new, fresh, and this is what I come up with. So you can dish out damage, you reinforce your teammates not only with heals, but also increasing at their damage output. You know, you're giving them that additional horsepower, and it all works out. And I wish there was a way that I could get the footage from him in order to show you, you know, his increase in damage and output. You'll just have to take my word for it. But first and foremost, let's go over here and just, you know, for poops and giggles myself. As you can see, 373, and I'll explain the reason why here in a moment for all of this. And it goes up, you know, 394. So that's my own base right there with no procs, well, other than Vindictive, and of course that, you know, that Coyotes, as far as my base. But here's my line of thinking, and you can adjust these values. Now, the attribute values have not been min-maxed. They are two things that I like to roll and change, and we'll go over those. That would even make this build even more potent. But I know how you like to see the character sheet. So, 51.1% crit chance, 1 to 33.8 crit damage, 92.7 headshot damage, 8% armor damage. And you're probably thinking, well, this is like very mediocre, you know. But see, you got to understand, this is a hybrid support build. But once I have the Vindictive and of course that Cody's, that's another 40% critical hit damage right there. So we're at 173.8. And then from the other talents, I'm also further increasing my base weapon damage. And so, you know, I can still inflict well over 400 and a half, 450, something like that, K when it comes to NPC. So it's not shooting marshmallows by any means. But the main thing is you're supporting those out there with the crave of using ongoing directive. And like I said, if you don't know what Vindictive is, it's killing an enemy with a status effect applied, grants you and your allies 15 meters, within 15 meters for 15 critical hit chance and 15% critical hit damage for 20 seconds. And also, remember these values, 15 meters, 20 seconds, and you know, we'll go over and you'll see how everything synergizes. And of course, the Coyotes, 0 to 15 meters, there's that 15 meters again. You get an additional critical 50 to 25% critical hit damage, and anything, you know, beyond that, 10% critical hit damage, 10 crit chance, 25 plus, that another 25% critical hit chance. But majority of the time, you're always going to be with that 0 to 15 meter radius. So see, we already getting those things synergizing there, and of course we got critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Now, when it comes to the healing aspect of it, I'm skill tier 3, but there are two pieces on here that you can easily swap out and to make, those heals even more potent. It all depends on how you like to play and how squishy you like to be, or, how much of survivability you would like. This is Picaro's holster. I'm getting that weapon damage. And instead of headshot damage here, I would love it to be critical hit damage. So that way, instead of that 173 that we were at, we'd be at 185 critical hit damage. And of course, as you can see, I changed the armor value. It was a mid-tier roll of, well, not mid-tier. It was +1 skill tier here, and I can easily change that back. But it all depends on your personal preference and playstyle. So if you want to go up in skill tier and further your healing abilities, then by all means you can do so. It just all depends on you, and you can play with these values to see what best suits you. This is not, my way, and that's the only way to play this. No, you have to make the build and form it into how it conforms into your playstyle, how it works for you, and not make yourself have to conform and change in order to use this build. No, you change these values up to fit your playstyle and not the other way around. So you also keep that in mind. But like I said, if you want to further your healing output, and as far as your skill damage, by all means, +1 skill tier instead of my armor, and of course, like I said, critical hit damage instead of headshot damage. But this is the only Picaro's holster I've actually come across thus far. And of course, the knee pads is Seska to get that crit chance up there. But as you can see, I can easily change the weapon damage to +1 skill T here. And if I did that to both, and if I, thought the situation, needed that, then I can easily be at skill tier 5 with no problem whatsoever. So it all just depends on the situation and what you're actually doing and how you feel as far as your playstyle on, how you want to play this particular build. Now those are the holster, knee pads, and mask, and let's go on to the chest piece. It is Alp Summit. You get that plus 20% repair skills. That further, goes hand in hand as far as me having only a skill tier 3 kind of reinforces that. And of course, this piece, of course, I'd want that crit hit damage, maxed out. And instead of stats effects, I'd actually want that, repair skills there as well. Oh, I'm actually missing a mod here. So, my bad. So we're actually at 145, so we're at 185 with Vindictive and Cody's proc already. Nice. So that's even, even better. But anyways, back to the chest piece. Um, like I said, so status effects to further reinforce my repair skills. You would want repair skills instead of status effects here. And of course, we're going with empathetic resolve or empathic resolve. Sorry, my verbalage and speaking ability is mediocre at best, so just bear with me. But it is repairing an ally increases their total weapon damage and skill damage by 3 to 15% per 20 seconds. There's that 20 seconds again. That's the same duration as the Vindictive when it is procced. So see, they got to keep those number values and distant values all hand in hand and synergizing. And of course, for myself, 1 to 7% per 20 seconds, and then it's all derived and indicative of what your skill tier is. So the more skill tiers you have, the stronger these values increase to. So like I said, it all just depends on your personal preference and how far you want to take it. You can take it all the way up to skill tier 5. That is more or less giving yourself another 6%, skill damage and weapon damage. And of course, your teammates, that would be equivalent of a 12% going to your allies. And this is a support. So you're not only giving your teammates heals, but you're also reinforcing their damage and giving them more horsepower. Alright, moving on. Now to the backpack for having these two pieces of the Brazos de Acrobatus, or whatever, how you pronounce that. We're just going to call it the Brazos. Armor, critical hit damage, repair skills, and then of course critical hit damage in the mod slot. And of course it has perfect overclock. Allies within 15 meters of your deployed skills gain plus 30% reload speed and reduces their active cooldowns by 0.6 seconds for each second. Now, for this second piece, you got that +1 skill tier. So that, helps me out. And nobody's really running the perfect overclock, so I'm like, okay, well, this, reinforces me giving him extra damage. And then sometimes, you know, you can be facing a situation, and I know plenty of times you come across this, that either the NPC or the player you're going against, you're both locked in, and it's all come down to you expended all your ammo in your clip, and it all comes down to who can ever reload the fastest and land that last bullet. And so, giving them the 30% reload speed, and also reducing their skill cooldowns, just plays out and synergizes, hand in hand with everything else when it comes to this build, as far as not only healing them, giving them extra horsepower by way of weapon damage, and also now you're giving them faster reload speed and faster cooldown times on their skills. Like if they're running a pulse build, some things like that, or they're waiting for their shield to come back up, or something that they're actually using on their build skill wise. So it's one big package, dressed up and put on a bow, and everything is more or less synergizing together. It's a three-tier skill. I can't even speak. Sorry, a three-tier skill hybrid that's giving your teammates every single thing that you can think of in the game, as far as damage, skill cooldowns, reload speed, and repairing them all at the same time. And you're just, and it's nothing like I've seen actually on the YouTube sphere, and like I said, like on the thumbnail, it's like no other. And of course, just for the extra damage, and I'm using the LMGs because I'm an LMG guy. Of course, the contractor's gloves, and damage to armor, critical hit chance, and then we have armor on there as well. And like I try to get my pieces, so that way if I need to adjust certain values, I can also change this out to +1, skill tier instead of the armor, and also, go to a skill tier 6 if need be. So I have these, certain pieces in line, but of course, I need better pieces. I need the crit damage here. That would put me, see, at if I got the 12% critical damage here, and then of course the 40 there. That's 185, 197.6 critical hit chance if I had the right roll on my holster. So all in all, you're inflicting damage, you're reinforcing your teammates, and all in all, it's one big package. And everything synergizing together, even when it comes down to the time length and duration of the proc skills that you're using, and of course also the distances. Because your teammates have to be within 15 meters of a deployed skill, thus your hive, so you're healing them, they're within that 15 meters. And of course, your enemies that you need to kill is also within that 15 meters as well, and it's all up for 20 seconds. So, like I said, no other. One of a kind, definitely go try it. And if I had the footage from Soul Killer, I'd love to have that to be put on here, and more or less his testimony, so that way that it absolutely works and does help out a lot. But definitely, if you have these pieces laying around, and if you're more of a support type player and you're tired of just sitting back, doing nothing but healing your teammates, and actually want to get into the mix and be more than just a healer, then by all means definitely try this out. You're doing damage, you're healing your teammates, and then you're also giving them more horsepower and strengthening their weapon damage and their damage output all at the same time. But thank you guys and gals so much for tuning in. Appreciate all the love and support. We'll see you fudging later.